live. Let's just see what's happening over here. This is my first time, y'all, doing a video, so you know that this is my first time going live on YouTube. So thank you for those of you who are patient with me for a second here as I see what is happening. So yes, we are here. Woohoo! Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. You know you got to be like so grateful. I'm grateful, Lord. So grateful when technology works, right? So listen up, guys. Those of you who are new to the channel, this is just getting off the ground. Warriors of the Heart Kingdom Talks is really designed for men and women who want to rise together and create extraordinary lives. I'm talking about the new kingdom here on earth, one where we like lead courageously, we love fiercely, and we are rising together as the kings and queens that God has created us to be, which is our design, right? Our original design, to be thriving, to be together, to be in union, to be prosperous, at peace. And we have gotten so far away from that. So today I want to talk about the fact that we are under massive attack right now. We are under massive attack. The masculine is under crazy attack right now. The feminine is under massive attack. Our relationships are under attack. The family unit is under attack. And there's just so much trying to destroy, dismantle, pull apart families, set us against each other, diminish our organic, natural design, by God, that I want to just jump right into this. So for those of you who don't know me, I want to make a couple disclaimers first. First and foremost, my name is Christine Jewell. I am not, here's all the things I'm not, okay? Here's all the things I'm not. I'm going to just share this thing right now. So the things that I'm not, you guys, I will tell you right now, is I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. I'm not an intercessor. I'm not some sort of, angelic being coming down to teach you special codes. I don't have a psychology degree. I don't have a whole bunch of letters after my name. So I just want to clear all of that up. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, anything that ends in an IST. I'm none of that. But what I am, I'm a raw, real woman. First and foremost, I am a woman. I am a daughter. I am a wife. I am a sister. I am a mother. I am the daughter of the King of Kings. I am a woman who's had her own life experiences, right? As have all of you. We are all qualified. And I want to set this out the gate, because a lot of times we receive information, we want to share information, we don't feel qualified, we don't feel like we have the right. Like, what gives us the right? And I believe what gives me the right to share this conversation is because I am a living, breathing, everyday example of it. I have lived this my entire life, and I have been a high performance coach. I have been a holistic health and performance coach, and I've been in the coaching world for many, many years now, over 20 years. I started off as a holistic health, or in the training world, in athletics, and then went into fitness, more specifically helping people to, really lose weight and get healthy and all that stuff. And what I realized was the same core pain points just keep passing on, right? Whether it was helping people in their health, then it became more helping people with their mindset and their performance goals, not just with their body, but life coaching. And it was the same core wounds, the same core issues. And then, moving on into spiritual mentoring and helping people really step into their destiny, it was the same core wounds. To have more fulfilling relationships, same core wounds. And so what I realized is the common denominators in all of these things that we are always chasing, that we are always trying to achieve, it's always the same common denominators. And so right now I'm feeling this fire underneath me to be bolder in sharing what's coming through, my knowledge, my wisdom, based on my personal experience as a woman who's gone through many failed relationships, right? I was divorced, I was remarried, I had long-term relationships that fell apart because of these things I'm going to talk about today, because of the attacks that we are under, and the spells that we are under, and the lies that we've bought into as a society and programming. I have gone through ups and downs in my health. I've gone through things with the kids. So I am raw and real, and I'm just like you. And today I'm sitting here because I will tell you that I'm so blessed. I'm so fortunate. I have the most amazing man in my life. I love the work I do. I feel very aligned. But the thing is, it took me coming back to the core of who I am, and really addressing the things that I'm going to talk about today, to get into this space where I am thriving and I feel alive and I'm in alignment to, I feel so supported, and I can't not talk about it. So here we are. Today we are under attack. Okay, we are just under attack. It doesn't take a brainiac to go and look in the world and say, what on earth is happening? What on earth is going on with society, with our children? The masculine itself, men, have been under attack for a while. We've seen the feminist movement. We're seeing that. I'm just going to say it's disgusting what's happening. We just saw something on the Grammys that, in my opinion, was a horrific show. Sorry for the opinions, but it's true. Really just disempowering more than anything. We're in this area where we have been demasculating men, and we have been trashing men. We have been trashing the masculine. We have been taught not to trust the masculine, right? It's just been this big, huge push. And now more than ever, we are just seeing men being, bashed around and oppressed, suppressed, and, all kinds of attacks happening on the masculine, where it's not cool to be a man's man anymore, right? Or it's not politically correct or socially acceptable. The feminine is under attack. The true essence of the feminine, which I want to talk about today, is also under attack. It has been, we've kind of swung from one pendulum to the other over thousands of years, where there was an element where the feminine was considered weak and, didn't have a voice. And then we swung wildly the other way, where all of a sudden it's all about women's empowerment and feminism and, women trying to be men. And now what we have is, instead of having women that don't have a voice and don't feel safe, we still have women who don't feel safe because they're exhausted trying to be men. They're exhausted doing things that's against their natural design. We have an attack on the family. We have an attack on our children. There is, I just read something the other day where there was a school now saying you can't say mother, you can't say father. Their code of conduct or social policy or whatever it is, I don't know. Excuse me if I'm saying that wrong. But there are these agendas that are rolling out that are trying to, basically rewrite so much of who we are, how we identify, in the name of unity, in the name of making everybody feel comfortable, in the name of everything being okay. We're losing all sense of who we are, what we're here for, what bonds us together, what makes us feel anchored and grounded. And we are experiencing more people ungrounded today than ever, ever, ever. There's more mental illness, there's more addiction, there's more sickness, there's more divorce, there's separation, there's suicide. Like, stuff is really happening. And if we're so inclusive and everything's so great, why is there such a high rate of depression, anxiety, mental health issues? Like, we have to pay attention. The family unit is under attack. And so here's the thing, guys. I see that creation itself is under attack. Creation, right? The creator and creation. We are in a place and time where things that are organic, raw, in their pure essence, are being distorted. They're being distorted, manipulated, altered in order to fit in to a political agenda, a social agenda, a new world agenda, right? And I have been really convicted of this. For years, the reason why I started with health, and now I know, is that God was saying to me, you must be pure. You have to be pure in your body. I dealt with so many people with autoimmune diseases and sickness in their body, and starts with overweight and migraines and all this stuff. But at the core, it's because they were bringing in all this inorganic, unnatural stuff that was not from God's original design for our human body to receive in, right? Crappy food, toxic drinks, toxic elements through everything that we were consuming, and the body just gets sick. What's so cool about the body is that the body is designed to heal itself. The body is designed to be healthy and vibrant and strong and aligned. But we're the ones that bring in these things that are not from creation, that are not organic, that are not designed for us, that don't work with our natural design. And therefore, we start feeling the dysfunction, the dis-ease, the unrest in the body, the discomfort. And in those moments, the world offers us a pill. The world offers us a solution, right? The fabricated starts coming in and saying, oh, I got something to fix it. I got something to make you feel better, right? I got something that's going to make you feel stronger. And we take these non-organic things that go against creation. We take these things that are manufactured, that are not in supporting of life force, but are just dealing with a symptom for temporary relief, so we feel better for a second. But really what we're doing is we're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And so that was just a simple example, but we are seeing this across the board. That was like, I saw that in the health space for so long. And now I'm seeing it in the relationship world. I work with so many couples, husbands, men especially, women who I've been desperately seeking that sense of intimacy and connection in your heart. You want to feel that intimacy, but we are not honoring creation. Creation itself is under attack. The way that we were designed as man and woman to come together and operate together and amplify each other's gifts is massively under attack. And as a result, we're disoriented, right? We're like these lost people, lost in the wilderness, unsure of who we are, unsure of what we stand for, unsure of how we're supposed to act in our marriage or our relationship, how we're supposed to act in dating. I mean, the amount of people I've worked with that are wanting to call in the love of their life or really change the dynamic in their relationship, but they have bought into all of these lies, these dysfunctional views, these dysfunctional beliefs and ways of operating, that in order to date, you have to act a certain way. Women have to be hyper independent and men have to be this way. And what actually happens is we show up to the party inauthentic, ingenuine, unable to be fully seen, which means we can't be intimate. There is no intimacy. There's no intimacy because we're trying to act like something that we're not. We're trying to be something that we're not. And we bought into it because it's wrapped in pretty packaging, right? It's popular. It's the latest trend. It's the most popular thing right now. And we all want to fit in and everybody wants to, not ruffle feathers. But I know that's not why you're on this. That's not why you're listening to this. But I'm here to say, we are under attack. And if you are just taking a look in society, we are riddled with pain, right? We are riddled with pains of the past. People are enslaved to their past. And we have put so many labels on things. And by the way, I'm not saying we don't need to diagnose things. I absolutely think that there is a time and a place, but we have put so many labels on so many things that we have all these people walking around thinking that they're so broken and there's so much wrong with them that they need to be in all these programs, all these therapy things, take all these pills, do all these things. And it's like, we overcomplicate things. We become more disoriented, more confused, more distracted. We are riddled with betrayal. We are riddled with pain. We are carrying resentment from the past. We have anger that hasn't been expressed in a healthy way, that hasn't been able to move from our system. It's either been suppressed, so it's repressed, and we're those passive aggressive kind of dynamics that we see playing out in relationships, right? Or there's the aggressive anger, the rage, the violence that we're seeing. There's just mistrust the thing that I'm seeing over and over again in relationships, and men and women especially, that are coming to work with me, I'm sharing my own experience from the past and from the men and the women that I've worked with, is that they have lost the ability to really trust themselves, to trust their inner knowing that comes from being in connection with God, right? That the Holy Spirit is flowing through them. So there's this knowing, but we don't trust our gut. We don't trust our instincts. We don't trust our heart. We don't trust, we're afraid to trust ourselves. We certainly don't want to trust God because we can't see it sometimes. And then we don't trust each other. Everybody's walking around with their guard up. And I know that if you're listening to this, you have the seeds of God planted in you. I believe we all do. But I'm really calling us back. I'm calling us back. I'm calling us to rise back to what we know. There is a gap between us, between humanity. And, marriages are crumbling. We are starved for real intimacy. There's a gap between us. The masculine and the feminine have been pitted against each other, knowingly or unknowingly. And by the way, this isn't just happening out there in the world. It's happening in all sorts of communities, right? All sorts of upbringing. It's happening in the church. It's happening in the non-church. It's happening in the spiritual and not religious communities. It's happening in the religious communities. It's happening everywhere. That because we're too entrenched in labels and external ideas instead of our original design. So I want to say it again. We're starved for real intimacy, yet few have ever experienced it. Marriages are crumbling. Marriages are crumbling. And it's interesting that there's messages for personal power everywhere. Reclaim your personal power, reclaim your confidence, and do this. And like, it's all about self-empowerment. Well, I've never seen so much personal development, and I've done a lot of this work, and I've taught a lot of these things throughout the years. If we have so much there, why are so many people massively enslaved still? Enslaved to systems and lies of the world. And what I mean by that is that they are enslaved to what? Alcoholism, work schedules, chasing more money, more power, more sex, more stuff in order to feel that sense of fulfillment and purpose and meaning and belonging in their life. We have all these things teaching us about the power of yourself and personal power. And look, you can create anything. And then here we are, still enslaved, in bondage to things. We're still serving other masters. A lot of people are not living freely. And I'm talking about not like, I'm free to do what I want. I'm free to go what I want. I'm not going to let him or her tell me what I can and can't do. I'm talking about a freedom that is in your soul, a freedom that is in your heart, a freedom that is an experience that you can't explain, that is just like an experience in your body. There is a seed inside of all of us that craves deep love, that craves that deep love, that craves that intimacy, that craves that connection, that craves connection with each other. We've bought into another lie that says we don't really need each other. I don't need him, my husband. He doesn't need me. We're two independent beings, but then we're all one. And it's sort of like there's a lot of confused teachings happening out there, and there's a lot of people buying into things that sort of feel good but feel off at our system, right? In our system, they feel off. There are seeds inside of us that are always trying to bring us back to truth, to the origin of who we are, to bring us back home. I really believe that, right? And you think about, the things that we crave, and I don't know, but I've seen this from my own life and from that of working with thousands of clients now up until this point, thousands of clients. And I've seen it especially in the couples and the men that I'm working with now, that are saying, you know what, I just need space again. I want to feel like I can breathe again. So much of the programming of this world is making me always feel like I got to go, 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 chase, chase, chase. It's disconnected me from nature. It's time to think, space to breathe, space, right? There's so much noise in the world. And there's so much noise right now, you guys, coming at us, coming at our children through social media, through the news, through the agendas that are getting pushed down through politics, through schools, through organizations. Like, there is a massive push of information that, like, we're in the information age and we're moving out of that into the next age. That's a different thing. But there's so much that it's so funny, in a time where we have so much information, we have more confused people than ever. We have more people that are lost than ever. We have more people with more tools and more strategies and more, recipes and formulas for success or for the way, that can't implement, can't integrate, and can't sustain them. So what is going on? I believe in our hearts we have the seeds that say, I want to be free. I want to feel that freedom, that space, that quietness, that connection, right? But we are now being attacked basically with so much information, so much noise, and it becomes so addicting, isn't it? It's so addicting to have more information, to have to chase more knowledge, to have to consume more content, or more things in order to prove some sort of status or worth, right? Or a place. I mean, just think about that. And it's like, sometimes when I use these words of like, we're under attack, and it sounds kind of really aggressive and all this, and we are under attack. We're under attack, but you know how the enemy attacks? It distracts you. It pulls you away from the original focus, the original plan. It takes all of the space away so you can't think. It's like it's running you in a circle, disorienting you, and that's how it wins you. It tires you out, right? We are tired people. A lot of people nowadays, most people I talk to, the number one thing they say is, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. We're exhausted because we have been under attack with so much information that is disorienting us. And as I say this, you guys think about, what is the stuff that I have bought into, the lies, the programs? What is all this information that I'm allowing into my home, into my family, into my kids' eyes, right? Is it setting us on course? Is it getting us back to our original design? Does it feel free and light in our bodies? Or is it heavy and distracting and energy draining? We got to pay attention to these things. We have the seeds planted for deep love, deep love. What I mean by this is, I have not met one person. I'm going to take a drink. I have not met one person in my entire life. And if you're listening to this, please tell me, maybe you are one, that has not craved deep love, intimacy with another human being, like a love relationship. We are created for love, for intimacy, for each other. It's 1 + 1 is 2, right? That's how we make the third one, the baby. Man plus woman equals creation. It's just biological, it's chemical, it's our natural design. We are designed to be in polarity, to be attracted to each other, to desire each other. What makes that happen, the chemistry, is the polarity of the masculine and the feminine essence, our beautiful design that I'm going to get into in a minute. Right? We are craving love. And how do we know? The seeds are there. People will fight wars for love, right? They build stuff. Why are we chasing all of this money? Why are we building all of these businesses? Why do we dress the way we do and look the way we do and work out so hard, and like all of the things that you're doing, at the bottom of it, we crave deep love. And my own story was that, like, I wanted that deep soulmate love, and I cycled through years and years and years. First observing my parents' broken marriage, then going through my own 10-year marriage. That wasn't quite a replica of my parents, but I brought in all of the pain, all of the betrayal, all of the hurt from that which I witnessed, right? That was the attack. And it was an attack on my own relational life moving forward. If I didn't overcome that battle and come back to my natural design, I would never be sitting here where I am with the most amazing husband. I would be in the same battle, listening to the same lies, which were constantly attacking me and attacking my past relationships. There's an enemy at play and it wants your heart. But we have the seeds in us that say, you know what, you're not meant to be alone, man. Man, you are not meant to be alone. I'm going to give you this woman. Woman, it's not good for you to be alone. That doesn't mean I need you in order to function every day. It means that we add to each other's life. It means that together we can go further. Together we create life force. Together we inspire. We lift each other up. We borrow from each other when one is up and one is down. Like, that's the beautiful dance of humans coming together, of man and woman, right? When we're in this dance. But so many of us have bought into this lie, these attacks that say, I don't need a man. I don't need a woman. I don't need one woman. I can take many women, right? I'm not worthy of love. Whatever these lies, these attacks that are coming at us. And then we forget our natural design, and we all of a sudden don't experience intimacy. We don't experience connection. We don't experience that deep love that we crave, because again, to experience intimacy means into me I see, into you I see. I must be able to see who you really are, who you were created to be, to experience the depth of that rich soil together. So I want to say the third thing that we have seeds for is that we have been planted the seeds for spiritual connection. And I believe inside every single one of us, I believe it, I know it, you know it. Again, I've never met one person who isn't seeking for more. I want to know that I'm here on purpose, for a purpose, that I belong to something greater than me. If this is all there is, and then you die, and that's it, that's pretty discouraging. That's a very hopeless, dark outcome. And I know, again, if you guys are listening to this channel and you're listening to this program, that you know you were created here on purpose, for a purpose. You know that you are part of something greater. You may not always feel worthy of it, deserving of it. You may sometimes really doubt yourself. You know, I do that too. But in our hearts, we know that we have these spiritual seeds that say, I am meant to be in communication, in connection with God, with the creator of all that is, the beginning, the end, the Alpha, the Omega. So I love to go back to the creation story. You know, I'm going to go back, right? Grassroots, warriors of the heart. We have to remember, what the heck, in the beginning? What are we doing this all for? As warriors of the heart, we have to remember, in the beginning, what is the purpose? What is the mission? What are we here for? Where do we come from? Because sometimes we can get lost in the battle. We can get lost in the fight. We get tired, we get weary, and we forget where we came from. So I want to just share this story. I want to share this story with you guys, and it is directly from the Bible. You guys know it. It's the creation story, right? It's the creation story. But I want to remind us that, you know, I'm here, and it says, as I'm reading the book of Genesis, that the Lord formed man from the dust of the ground, and he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. It's just so beautiful to remember that man was created from the outback. He is wild. He's raw. He's from the outback, the wild part of the earth. He's from the earth, the ground. And it was God who breathed life into him that made him come alive, right? How many men, if you're listening to this, you have forgotten that wild side of yourself, the ruggedness, the rawness, you know, man of the earth, the natural side of you, the wild side of you. And that you, when you are with God, in God, you are being broke. You are having life breathed into you. It's such a beautiful image. And then it goes on to say, I'm just going to keep reading Genesis 2, verse 8. Now the Lord had planted a garden in the east, in Eden. There he put the man that he had formed. And the Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. And in the middle of the garden were the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Right? And it goes on. And the Lord God, I'm going to jump forward to 15. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. And the Lord commanded the man, you are free to eat any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat from it, you will surely die. So here's the thing that I love about the remembering where we came from and realizing that we're under attack. Number one is, it nowhere here does it say God, Adam was God, man was God. God created Adam. He breathed life into him. He made him from the outback. He was wild. And then God placed him in this beautiful space and said, now name the animals, cultivate, work this land, right? Take care of it. Honor the creation. He didn't say worship creation. He said honor it, take care for it, name the animals, right? He gave him a beautiful playground, basically, to rule over, but he didn't say you are God. And he did not say worship my creation. And I want to tap into that because I believe one of the things that we're seeing as an attack in our world right now is that there are many of us who have forgotten and we think we are God. We have to be the source of all things to all people. Right? We have to know all the answers. We have to have all the strategies. We have overinflated ourselves through the ego, right? And we are worshiping ourselves, each other as gods, right? Putting people on pedestals, thinking that they're somehow holier than us or whatever, worshiping them knowingly or unknowingly. And I know this is like a harsh thing, but it's true. I always ask myself, shoot, where have I started worshiping something unknowingly? Because it sneaks in on you, right? I was created by God, by the Creator. I was given these things. You were given these things to rule over, to take care of, to cultivate. And I'll be talking a lot about cultivating our kingdom, our garden over time, whether it's your home, your business, all of those things. You have been given those. What are you doing with them? Are you remembering what you are here to do? So what I love is that he says you are free to eat from anything, but you will not eat from this one tree, because if you do, you will surely die. What does that even mean, right? So God gives us instructions. Here, you can have all of this. Do this, don't do that. And we see that over and over again, right? And we know that we know that we know in our heart, in our soul, that there are things that are in alignment, that are yes with our design. And there are things that we're just like, I'm just going to open a doorway over there. And that doorway is going to kill or destroy me. Maybe that's the doorway of alcoholism. Maybe that's the doorway of pornography. Maybe that's the doorway of coveting and jealousy, of dissatisfaction. But in this story, this was prepping us for the fall, right? But what I love next is God says, I put you in this garden. I breathe life into you. I'm in connection with you. I give you all of this beautiful space to rule over, play in, be free, take care of it, cultivate it. Just don't go that way or you'll be separated from me. You'll die. It's just like we do with our kids. But then he says, the Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper for him. And so it's funny because then, the Lord causes the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and closed up the place with flesh. And the Lord God made woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to him. And the man says, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of me. For this reason, and it goes on, a man will leave his father and mother and unite to his wife, and they will become one flesh. The man and his wife were both naked, totally vulnerable, and they were not ashamed. They were fully seen, right? Here she was. And often, later on, we see that God refers to woman as the crown of creation, right? Not going to get into all this today, but woman was the final creation, the final gift, the gift that God gave to Adam. And so this is the thing that is so beautiful. She was the crown of creation. She was created to be his companion, to be his helper. They could roam freely. They could have all that they wanted. They were given so much, and they were also warned, do not go over there. Do not eat that thing, that fruit, because if you do so, you will die. And, we have to say, why? Why? What's up with that, right? We know the story. This isn't a Bible story class, but I want to bring us back to remember who we are. Because the reason why we were told no is that would open the portal. That would open the portal, the gateway for the lies to take over us, to separate us from God, right? Because all of a sudden, when they were tempted, when Eve was tempted by Lucifer in the garden with the serpent, he said to her, oh, you'll know everything. You'll be just like God. If you eat this, surely you won't die. How could you possibly die, right? And isn't that the way it is in life? Right now, the attacks, they come as juicy little temptations. Oh, it'll just be fine. It's not going to bother you. Just one more day, one more night. It's fine. Let them play those video games. It's fine if I have another drink. It's fine if I just hop, do this thing outside of my marriage or sleep around with multiple people. It's fine. But it's not really harming anyone. It's a slippery slope, right? It separates us. It separates us from God. That pivotal moment, though, is when we recognized we were naked. The minute they said, okay, I want to be like God. I want to be like God. I want to know all the things God does. I want to have the same powers. And Eve took the fruit, and then she took a bite, and then she had Adam, and Adam took a bite. Now, all of a sudden, they were enticed. They bought into the lie. They were deceived. And what happened next? Immediately, they were ashamed. They saw themselves that they were naked, right? They saw themselves, they were ashamed, they were vulnerable. They were like, oh my God, we're naked, and we're going to run and hide. They were running and hiding in shame. We know how the story ends, but that is the original wound, right? The original wound is, I fell. I made the mistake, right? We made the mistake. Eve made the mistake. She was deceived, and then she pulled Adam in. Adam is resentful to Eve because she pulled him. He tries to blame her in the garden, and she's blaming him in the garden when they're confronted by God. And ever since then, so has the story been for humanity, right? That original sin, we call it, right? The original sin, which means off course, out of obedience, out of alignment with your original design. That missing of the mark was the thing that sets us apart and pits us against each other. Ever since then, what happened? Man and woman, Adam and Eve, were cast out of the Garden of Eden. Lucifer was sent out. We know this story, right? With the fallen angels, and they had to labor for the rest of their lives, and they had to work the earth, and the woman got the birth pains, and we know the story. But what happened since that original wound was that we bought the lie. Humanity bought the lie and pitted us against each other. We held on to that resentment, the anger, the betrayal, the mistrust against each other. It's his fault. It's her fault. And the thing is, until the original design is restored, and we recognize that we are operating in these pattern of lies, we will continue to loop through these relationship cycles. We will continue to have marriages fall apart, relationships fall apart, right? We have to be the ones that restore, right? And we know how we do that. So I want to just talk about this. Where are these lies still playing out in your life? It's her fault I'm stuck in this crappy marriage. It's her fault that I'm in this in this caged in this business because she wants to have all this stuff. And how am I going to provide for her? I'm stuck here with no adventure, no freedom, like a trapped animal. Men, I hear this stuff, so I just wrote them down. If you see my eyes going like this, it's because I'm reading what I wrote. You know, we have held on ever since that moment. We have felt separated and unworthy of intimacy with God, right? I want to backtrack. This is the resentment he holds. She holds. The feminine has held this. Well, he didn't protect me. He didn't look after me. Where was he when the serpent was coming to tempt me, right? How many women have felt unprotected, unsafe, right? That at the core of every woman, I will tell you that is your number one fear. Is like, are you going to protect me? Are you going to be here for me? Like, who's going to look after me? A woman at her core is designed to be protected, right? And so this is the beautiful dance that we come back to. The other things that happen in that moment is from that moment, we got separated, right, from God, and we felt unworthy of intimacy with God. And there was a hole. There was a hole that's put here. And that hole is there in all of us to bring us back to God, right? The void can only be filled in connection, with that original relationship with him. We seek it, we search for it in everything. We try to fill it with anything and everything else, from shopping to drinking to sex to more stuff to traveling to transcendental experiences and supernatural experiences. And maybe we feel good for a minute, but my question is, do we experience a moment of bliss, a temporary moment of bliss? By the way, I've had a lot of moments of bliss, and I've been through a lot of experiences, a lot of supernatural experiences as well. Some that I got into unknowingly where I had blissful experiences, but they were not of God because they weren't sustainable. Right? It was like it was a lie. It was like a false moment of like, ecstasy, but no real sustenance. So here's the thing. We seek, we search, we try to fill with anything and everything else only to lead us to empty gates. Even though what's so funny is we run and we hide and we chase anything but the original thing. We think we're hiding out. But God is omnipresent. The presence of God is everywhere, all of the time. So who are we really hiding from, right? That's why we're like, what am I hiding from? But it's always there until the moment that we come to him in humility and we open the door and we invite him in, right? We invite him in. And I think so many of us don't go there because we are believing and we are in that attack of shame. We are in that attack of not feeling good enough, not ready enough. I heard someone say to me the other day, you know what? I've done so much wrong. Christine, I've done so much wrong. Like, I don't even know I'm embarrassed to come. Like I've gone too long, too far. And this is the thing about unconditional love, right? That's the thing about God, is that unconditional love of the Father that says, come back to me, my son, come back to me, my daughter. And we know that that's why, for those of us who are Christians, we know that is why Jesus came on the cross, because he was the one who broke that curse, which is what it was. Right? And you guys know that if you are if you are feeling yourself sometimes tormented in shame or tormented in guilt or tormented in disorientation and confusion, the noises in your head, you're tormented with guilt of the things that you've done in the past. That can feel like, how oppressive that feels. And so when Jesus came, he came to take that all back, right? It's not our burden to carry any longer, right? He came, basically that moment in the garden when they became ashamed and embarrassed and scared because they saw who they were, right? They saw that they had sinned. They had broken the one thing that God asked them not to do. They had crossed the line. Jesus came to restore that, to say, all right, we're not going to live with that curse anymore. And for those of you who have felt like, man, I have been living with a curse, and I know it's intense language, but it's true. You know, there's so much happening. Uh, there's so, so much of what happens in our lives are because it feels like a curse on you, right? Like, it's like, how can this be happening again? How can I go through this again? No matter how hard I try in my own head, no matter how many strategies, no matter how much willpower, no matter how many people I get to help me with this, I still have this addiction. I still have this shame. I still have this thing. You feel cursed because it is one. It's the original wound, right? And we break the curse. Jesus comes and he breaks that curse. He breaks that spell. So we are forever craving, guys, to get back to the peaceful, beautiful state of the garden, which is, you know what? It's rest. There's ability to rest there. There's peace in our heart. There's unity between the masculine and the feminine. And we are walking with God at the center in the garden with us, right? We've come back to a place where we can cultivate this beautiful garden, this beautiful space that we've been given, this beautiful relationship that we've been given, because it's been restored. We remember with that lie, that attack that we've been under, that made us forget who we were, pitted us against each other, had us living in shame, that which makes us want to wear masks, right? Pretending to be what we're not, right? It's gone. It falls away. And all of a sudden we're like, wow, this is what it feels like to be back in order, right? In the divine order. So I just want to say it's high time we reclaim our original design. And I'm not talking about like everybody go up and find the Garden of Eden and whatever. I believe we're at a time where we are being given the opportunity to rise and restore the kingdom here on earth. So this is our earth. This is our planet. You got your house. I got my house. We got our businesses. Your kingdom is your body, your relationship, your home, your business, your community. Each one of us has a kingdom, a miniature kingdom that we have been given, that has been placed underneath us. We have been blessed with. And it doesn't matter if your kingdom is one room or $1 billion business, right? Our natural design is to come back in communion with the divine God, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the source of all things, not source, but the creator of all resources. So when I say he's the source of all things, it means on the moments where I'm all running out of courage, or I'm running out of clarity, or I'm running out of energy, I got to call on supernatural courage, supernatural strength, supernatural confidence, right? Supernatural clarity. The moments that I don't feel like being loving, but I know it's the right thing to do because I love my husband and I love my kids. And even though they're driving me nuts in that moment, maybe I know if I can just allow myself to let love flow through me, it changes the whole dynamic. In those moments, I call on the source of all love, of all courage, of all creation, of all the things. And I say, Holy Spirit, let it flow through me, right? That's what I mean when I say those words. So I think we are in a time where we are being called right now to come back and remember that I am created in love, by love, to be loved. You are created in love, by love, to be loved. We are here for each other to bring that natural order back, right? We are not designed for a life of suffering and oppression and depression and dis-ease and disconnection from each other. We are designed for vitality, prosperity, inner peace, intimacy, right? But we have to remember and come back to what was the original design, because when we move away from it, things start to get sick. Things start to get disconnected, right? So if you are looking at your relationship right now and you are experiencing dis-ease, disconnection, a canyon between you and your wife, you and your children, if you're feeling heaviness in your heart, hardness around your heart, betrayal, If congestion has taken over your mind and there's so much noise, then I got to ask you, have you forgotten the man that you are created to be? Have you forgotten the woman that you are created to be? And the beautiful thing is, just like that, at any moment, you can remember. But I'm calling all of you men and women who know that you know in your heart, in every cell of your body, that you are created to be here on purpose, and that something about the way things are going on in the world feels radically off to your system. It's time to rise and be bold. It's time to rise and be bold. We have to fight for what is right. And what I mean by that is, we don't need to go out and fight out in the streets and scream at each other and hit people over the head with Bibles or books or logic or whatever. The battle is an internal one. The revolution is an internal one. It's the one where you get really silent. You get really clear on, like, what is the internal battle for my attention? Where's the battle for my heart? Where is my mind, my thoughts? What is attacking my thoughts? What is attacking my heart? What is attacking my relationships? What lies have I been allowing to infiltrate my home, my marriage, my business? What distractions have been robbing my focus? This is the attack I'm talking about. There's a lot of big agendas going down that I think are definitely attacking our children, attacking the way that we view each other as men and women. But the revolution starts inside every single one of us. And here's what we know is, as we come back to our original organic design, you just look at nature. Once you feed that organic design, our natural design, the way God created us to be, it flourishes. Things flourish. It's just a universal law of creation, right? We think about when you start watering again, that's those original seeds, they start to flourish. Things start to shift without us needing to force them, without us needing to put pressure on it. We just pour love, right? We water it. We nurture it. We cultivate it. And as we do so within, we change the atmosphere internally. We change the level of presence we show up in. The people around us start to experience a different atmosphere, and people become hungry for more of that. So I want to kind of wrap this up, but I wanted to just come on here, and I hope that I was at least a little bit articulate. You guys, I'm going to be 100% honest. Like, I'm not doing this for me. I am not doing this for me. God has put this on my heart, like, so strong. Christine, you are putting these warriors of the heart kingdom talks together. He has been training me to be a warrior my entire life. I have had so much strife, so many battles, so much hardship in my life, and I still am filled with joy, and I'm filled with radiance, and I'm filled with his love, and I have seen him come through for me time and time again. And when people ask me, what's your secret sauce? What's your secret power? I mean, this is it. This is it. It's at the core. It's that I know that I am held. And every time I'm off course, right? Every time I forget and I bought into the attack, or somehow I let it open the door, I can tell, because everything gets hard and there's so much resistance in my life. So I'm here just in obedience. I have a strong desire to help men and women come back to our original design. What is man's original design? Men, if you're listening, thank you for hanging with me this long. I want to invite you to follow this channel as I go into, like, what is the original design of a man's heart? Your heart, right? What is the heart of a man truly seeking? How were you created to be, to show up in relationships? How was a man created to lead his family, his children, his kingdom? What is required of you? These are the conversations we need to be having. How do I become more of the man God created me to be? Not how do I become less of? Women, What is our original design? There is a queen inside waiting to be unveiled. I really know it and I believe it because it is evidence of my own life. As I asked, to be brought back to my original intimate love affair with Christ and God, He revealed to me the heart of a woman. He showed me what it's like to show up in love, in devotion, in a thriving relationship. And all of a sudden, the floodgates opened up for me. I'm telling you, I feel more empowered than ever. I feel more supported than ever. I have such a stronger desire to love my husband and to serve him and show up and just really love on this man because at the same time, he reciprocates and I have all the freedom to do what I desire, but I'm here because I want to be here. I love it. And together we are flourishing and we are thriving and we're supporting each other. And it's like, it amplifies everything. So it's so beautiful. I'm no longer fighting against the masculine, trying to compete with him, trying to be him, right? I am supporting him. I am loving on him. I am receiving his structure and support. And in turn, I am so well taken care of. I am cherished, right? I am given so much oxygen and room to play and explore and breathe and do my thing. And it is a great dance and it feels good to be in relationship like this. So ladies, what is the woman's original design? We are the crown of creation, right? Have I forgotten the parts of myself that are beautiful and radiant and graceful and soft and inviting, right? What is the heart of a woman really seeking? What is the heart of a woman really designed for? How is a woman to lead? Yes, women, queens, we are also leaders. We are leaders. We lead alongside our husband. We lead alongside our men. We go together. It's not one or the other, but we have different roles. And see, that's another thing that we have bought into is that no, there's no roles, there's no this or that. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's BS because I lived that life for a long time and I was exhausted and I was constantly fighting and there was constant unease. So, what is required of me as a woman in this season? How do I show up for myself, for my children, for my family? When I remember this, guys, when we remember our original design, we can honor and respect and show up in that. I'm telling you, life-giving, organic, beautiful creation starts to happen so much more. It's beautiful. It's easier. It's just like, I can't even describe it, right? Things become easier in the sense that you have this peace inside your body. So I'm here to tell you guys that we are under attack. And I think that even though I've been a warrior, I spent way too many years of my life fighting the wrong battles because I didn't understand the attack that was happening. I had opened doors to lies, deceit, betrayal to come in. I took physical things that happen in this world and I was like, see, my dad abandoned me, all men are pigs and and that's how the enemy gets us, right? And we keep reliving the legacy, we keep reliving the past, and it's getting exponentially worse because we keep passing that curse, those generational patterns onto our children. And I'm just seeing it like exploding like wildfire right now. And I am like, oh, hell no, not in this house, not in this relationship, not in this body. So when I talk about fiercing or loving fiercely, I'm talking about, oh yeah, I'm fighting for this love. I am going to protect and preserve and honor and respect. And I'm going to make sure that this is my kingdom. This is my body. This is my relationship. These are my children. This is my home, and I'm not going to let it be infiltrated with all of these lies. And I will do everything in my power through the power that He is working through me, right? I will do everything that I can to make sure that I honor, that I respect, that I live in alignment with that which I know is true. You live with a conviction and knowing. And I think that that's what happens when we have been under attack for a long time and we have become weakened and we have become exhausted is we lose our sense of conviction. We lose our sense of knowing. And that's why over the last year, as I looked around and I still get people all the time saying, well, what should I do? What do you think about this? What about this? I'm not going to even get into all the stuff that's happened in the pandemic, but the amount of people who've lost their conviction, their critical thinking, their ability to think and feel and know and then act courageously, we are losing it. Society is losing it. There seems to be less and less leaders who we can trust. Less and less men who are grounded and solid enough to know who they are and what they stand for. There's so much wishy-washiness. There's so little trust. There's so much superficiality. You know, people are desperate. They're hungry for deep, rich, loving, like deep, rich relationship. They're starving for authenticity, right? And they'll do anything to feel those, to try to feel connected again, to belong. And I'm here to tell us that if you guys are listening to this, you know that you're listening to this because you're one of them. You're one of the men and women who are being called to break the patterns for our children, to be the ones to put our foot down and say, nuh-uh, not in this house, not in this body, not in this home, right? He placed us here together as men and women on purpose for a purpose. We will dismantle the lies. We will dismantle the distortions, the twisted truth, sneaky tactics, and we will remember that he is the ultimate creator, not us, that he loves me unconditionally, wherever I am, whatever I've done, there's no hiding. Just like a father, like a mother, my kids, you can't hide from me. You know what I'm talking about when teenagers, they're sneaking around and then you're like, I know what you do. I know what you did. I don't have to see you doing it. I can feel it. So God is waiting for us to come back to him in our struggles, to ask for help. He will never force himself on us, but he will continue to present himself, to pursue us, to invite us to come back. So it is so beautiful. I had all these notes here, but I think I'm just going to wrap it up here. But I invite you guys right now. I wanted to talk about this as a foundation for what this program, this channel is going to be about. It's going to be a channel that is totally dedicated, a program that is totally dedicated to you men and women who know I'm a man, I'm a woman. I'm not knocking people that are, trying to figure themselves out, that are, feeling lost, disconnected, or, any of it. But I know that I know there's something in my heart that says I am a woman and I'm here to co-create with my husband, with a man, a new type of kingdom on earth, right? I'm going to rise together. We're going to rise together as kings and queens. So if you have been feeling under attack, the battle is real. There is a battle for your heart. There is a battle for your children. There is a battle for your life. What do you want to be fighting for right now? What do you want to be fighting for? Will you be humbled enough to acknowledge that you have unknowingly allowed trespassers into your gates and believe the lies? It takes humility. I've been humbled a lot lately, but I am ready to kick him out. I am ready to reclaim my rightful place in the kingdom and restore my relationship. And you know what? This is the beautiful thing. This is the beautiful thing, you guys. I mentioned, that I did not want to. I wasn't like, I'm going to do this channel. I've been a high performance coach for years. I've helped people up level their health, up level their relationships, perform better, get better confidence, more clarity, and all that. But every single person that came to work with me at one point or another, what they really wanted to work on was three things. It was the three things I started at the top of this program. They all craved a spiritual connection. They all felt there's a void inside, and I really want to fill that. Something's missing. And maybe you have been a Christian. Maybe you have, accepted Christ a long time ago, but you forgot. You've been under attack for so long. You've gotten a little disoriented in the woods. My warriors, it's time to come back. right? They want that deep spiritual connection, communion with God. Secondly, they want deep love. They want intimacy with their partners. Every single person I talk to, mostly men that I've coached, and a lot of women, but mostly the things they wanted was to feel more intimacy and closeness with their partner. And the third thing was, which comes in a package with the first two, is to feel ease in their body, peace, not to be uneasy, stressed out, anxious, congested with noise. And I mean, I can't at this stage of the game with everything that's going on in the world. I'm like, I can't talk about, relationships or health or anxiety or overcoming addiction without talking about the foundation for it all. That's like trying to build a house on quicksand. So I took the extra time today to do this longer program because I have made a commitment in obedience to God, to my calling, to my service, my mission, that I'm here to say, like, this is my choice. I'm going to be building this new kingdom, this new business, this heart of service. I don't really know where this is going, this program. My relationship, everything that I do moving forward is 100% going to have that foundation of God at the center, the original design, honoring, respecting, loving my husband, the masculine, and the masculine of God. I'm going to be showing up in my true essence as a woman, how he created me to be, and I will be doing everything in my power to stay pure in that, because I feel great when I'm in that space. I feel aligned. I feel free. I feel humbled and so deeply loved. Everything is just smoother, more clear, right? Abundant. Why would I not want to be there? So, you guys, thank you for joining me as we wrap up. If this resonates with you and you're like, yes, I'm with you, I get it, I am not going to play these games. I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to get really clear about what's been coming in, infiltrating my home, my family. I am doubling down on my original design, on cultivating a rich life of intimacy and peace and prosperity with God at the center. Then you're in the right place, my brothers and sisters. Here's what I'm asking you to do to help me get this off the ground. Again, literally just doing this in obedience. Number one, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel so that we can get the words out. Make sure you guys comment, post below. This is literally my first live stream ever. So I kind of don't know what I'm doing, but it'll get going. So please leave comments below. I'm going to be going live every single Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to start, possibly twice a week. You guys can subscribe. When you get that, you'll get the push notifications, add a comment, and thirdly, please share this with anyone who needs to receive these messages. Programs are going to come out focusing on supernatural relationships, supernatural finances, stepping into your calling, unlocking your gifts, really working around the power of the heart. But every single thing I do here is going to be with God at the center of it all, because we are warriors of the heart, not warriors of the world. All right, my loves, I will leave you with that. Please comment, please subscribe, like, share this on multiple platforms. And lastly, if you guys want to get connected with me, like I mentioned, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a teacher, I'm a teacher, but I have mentorship programs that you guys can jump into. We have a Facebook community you guys can be part of. So if you are interested in building community, make sure you check out the links there underneath the video descriptions if you guys are listening to this on YouTube. And if you want to come join us over in the community, if you want to dive deeper, there's always mentorship opportunities coming up. So you guys take a peek at that. Until next time, thank you so much for joining me. Here's to loving fiercely and leading courageously, my dear warriors. Bye for now.